The Season 3 premiere of NGW British Wrestling Weekly is proudly sponsored by Fighting Spirit magazine.
Wrestling's new generation are gearing up for the second ever Davey Boy Smith Memorial Cup. And this week on NGW British Wrestling Weekly, two of the country's finest young talents, Birmingham's Pete Dunne and last year's winner, Liverpool's #1 Zack Gibson, battle it out in front of a global television audience.
Well, the Davey Boy Smith Cup, I mean, when it was announced, there was a lot of buzz about it, but people didn't really know which way it was going to go. People didn't know if it was going to flop, if it was going to be a success, if it was going to go this way or that way. But obviously all of the critics were all silenced when the tournament was all done, when the tournament aired. I think it made a lot of new fans for British wrestling, it made a lot of new fans for NGW, and I know it made a lot of new fans for me. The Davey Boy Cup exploded into something far beyond what we ever thought it would be, and it put a lot of guys, including myself, on the map, took us to that next level. So then I see the announcements coming up, they're going to bring it back, they're going to do tournament #2, and I got excited, I got goosebumps, sat at home. I rang up my dad and I told him that we're doing the tournament again, and I'm going to be the first name to get announced. I messaged all the guys in the back, I messaged the promoters, I messaged everyone, and I said, I need to be in this tournament. And then they told me, that's not how it's going to work this time. And it just didn't sit right. I told them, like, please, this is something that I need to be a part of, this is something that I've got a real passion for, and they told me that's not how we're going to do it. The winner cannot be in the second tournament. So that's something that is still bothering me, still keeping me awake at night. But then they said, we'll give you the opportunity to test out the new guys that are going to come in. And I said, well, that suits me down to a T. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Anyone that wants to go into this tournament, anyone that wants to follow what I began and become the second time Davey Boy Cup winner, well, they're going to have to go through me. They need to know that this tournament is no walk in the park, and this tournament is no fancy little one-off gimmick, some special little extra bit that we're going to do on the programme. This is something important, this is something that I believe in, and they're going to learn that the hard way. When they get in there, if they're thinking this is going to be a stroll, they're going to quickly change their mind when I'm smacking them in the face, dropping them on the deck, wrapping their arm around their head and locking the Shankly gates.
British Wrestling's most prestigious televised tournament will soon be underway for the second time. And right now, Pete Dunne is looking to impress. Dave Bradshaw here alongside former British heavyweight champion Alex Shane. And Alex, the Hart and Smith families over in Canada will be watching this, and Pete Dunne knows it.
Well, this is really exciting because Pete Dunne, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated talents in British professional wrestling today. And as you said, the Davey Boy Smith Memorial Cup tournament is one of those things that's going to draw in the top talent from around the United Kingdom and possibly all across the world. And Pete Dunne is exactly one of those types of talents.
Well, talented as he may be, this is an enormous test coming up for the Bruiserweight against the man who won the first ever Davey Boy Smith Cup, Zack Gibson.
Well, Gibson wasn't originally meant to be in the Cup, but he was so disappointed when it was announced that he wouldn't be eligible to contend. He even emailed me, Dave, like loads of people he contacted, and as a conciliatory move, NGW management have asked Gibson to take on the first man to be picked for an open invitational.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing his opponents.
Well, in many ways, I wonder if this man sees himself as the guardian of this cup. As the only person in history who's won it, Alex, Zack Gibson is not prepared to let anybody into this second tournament unless they can reach a standard whereby they're able to hang at the highest level with him. And such is Zack Gibson's confidence, I think he doesn't believe that Dunne is anywhere near him.
Well, when Zack Gibson had his first ever qualifying match in the Davey Boy Smith Memorial Cup tournament, he was so new to wrestling on television that even wrestling on local television was a big deal. Then he went terrestrial all across the United Kingdom, and now he is becoming a very, very seasoned worldwide television professional, Dave.
Certainly is. He came very close in recent months to being the NGW Undisputed Champion as well. Gibson, one of those guys in a country where there's lots of people going places. Zack Gibson is right at the top of the pile.
And in many people's opinion, Zack Gibson is possibly, alongside Rampage Brown, the uncrowned NGW champion. You know, there's been so many times when we thought Gibson was going to be the new NGW champion, and what I found most interesting of all, Dave, is when he walked out in the Hull City Hall, the hometown of NGW champion Nathan Cruz, he got a somewhat hero's reaction.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. What do you make of the changing relationship between Gibson and the NGW fans?
Well, listen to this. I mean, is there anything that could illustrate that point more? But I think, you know, it's got a lot to do with the fact that when we saw British Wrestling's Ultimate Showdown, Gibson was suplexed from the top rope to the outside of the ring. One of the most dangerous things I've ever seen. And instead of laying there, instead of being stretched out, he, with every fibre of his being, he stopped Nathan Cruz from getting back in the ring, and people respect that toughness. And look at this, straight for that Shankly Gates early on Pete Dunne.
Well, he's not just tough, not just a brawler, you're seeing some of his amateur skills also from Dunne as Dunne gets into that hammerlock, floats over now, got into a pinning predicament, but Gibson rolls out quickly.
Fantastic, fantastic amateur style catch-as-catch-can wrestling. We knew we were going to see this from Pete Dunne and from Gibson, but we're seeing it early. I thought there'd be a slow feeling out process, but those, wow.
You know, you only get one chance to make a first impression, and as we said, the Harts and the Smiths, that dynasty of professional wrestling over on the other side of the pond, are watching this, and of course, that family well known for their technical wrestling prowess, so they're going to be very impressed by what they've just seen.
And for those people that may think Pete Dunne looks familiar, the Cruiserweight Classic that's taking place right now in the WWE, Pete Dunne took on Jack Gallagher in one of the qualifiers here in the United Kingdom, and that match was aired on the WWE YouTube channel. So a worldwide audience on YouTube have already seen Pete Dunne wrestle, and now we're seeing it worldwide again on television.
Yeah, a couple of big near falls for Dunne in that match. He was just, half a second away on a couple of occasions from being in that Cruiserweight Classic. Now he's in another tournament here in the UK, and of course if he can win this one, as Gibson did last year, well, Dunne might be going places himself.
And it's interesting as well because Pete Dunne is not a cruiserweight. He is what he refers to himself as a bruiserweight. And that's someone who really reminds me, oh, look at that. Ogoshi, judo-style throw over the hip. But Pete Dunne reminds me of a young David Finlay. He's got that ruggedness, that toughness, and that makes it very different. Look at that, straight for the ear.
The referee sees it. That's a huge compliment to compare this young man to Dave Finlay, and certainly I'm sure he'd take that, but got a long way to go before he can count himself in that level, and beating Zack Gibson here will be a good first step.
And referee Adam J there asking for a clean break. Are we going to see it? Well, it's clean of sorts in a way. Off the second, comes down.
Oh, Gibson.
Schoolboy roll.
And he got a pin there.
Off the ropes, comes back. Hip toss.
It's counter after counter here, isn't it? Into the backslide. Dunne's shoulders are down. Gibson switching into a submission.
Rolls it through. What's he going for? Look at this.
Like kind of a modified half crab almost.
Is there anything that Zack Gibson cannot do? You know, this guy is 6'4", in incredible physical condition. We've seen him fly off the top rope, but when it comes to wrestling, this guy is second to none in the United Kingdom. Really, really impressive in-ring competitor.
Again, Alex, I hinted at this a moment ago. Do you think there is a degree to which both Gibson and Dunne are adapting their styles because they know the sort of wrestling that will impress their audience?
Well, I mean, that was impressive. Pete Dunne using the top rope there and pulling it back so that it hit the eyes of Zack Gibson. I've never seen that before. And yeah, I mean, there's a big disadvantage that Zack Gibson has here. It's because for the last 2 years, he's wrestled consistently on television, whereas Pete Dunne is an unproven commodity.
We've got to go to a commercial break. Dunne and Gibson continues when we come back.
WrestlePlus.com is the brand new home of incredible online wrestling content, featuring uncensored shoot interview classics, full series of WrestleTalk TV and British Wrestling Weekly, exclusive documentaries, wrestling's biggest names before they were stars, an incredible podcast collection, up to 90% off merchandise offers, and the brand new Power Slammed e-magazine forwarded by Finn Martin himself. WrestlePlus has thousands of hours of content with new and exclusive releases added regularly. You can join today for the stupidly low price of just £4.99 a month. WrestlePlus, because this is wrestling.
Here on NGW British Wrestling Weekly, Pete Dunne and Zack Gibson both continuing to try and impress as we build up towards the second ever Davey Boy Smith Memorial Cup.
And look at that, Pete Dunne has been relentless during the commercial break. You see her on a replay on the arm of Gibson, and Gibson doing all he can to protect it, because if Gibson, look now on the fingers, Dave, if Gibson doesn't get full power in that arm, you know what he can't apply, that's that Shankly Gate submission.
We've seen Gibson beat so many competitors here in NGW with that submission hold. At the moment, Dunne is living up to his name. A real bruising style of offense from this young man from Birmingham.
And the guy's cocking. Look at the gum shield he's got on. He reminds me of Jaws from the James Bond movies.
Well, he's certainly every bit the villain here if you listen to these NGW fans, just as Jaws was in those films.
And Gibson, very smart there with that butcher's hook grip, tried to stop Dunne, and now Dunne must have heard us because he's taken it. Oh, talk about, wow.
Well, referee's got to do something. He's got the count on. Dunne making use of that possible 5 count.
I'm worried now that he could hear us commentating, because that was a bizarre premonition, saying that he was like Jaws and then biting into the fingers of Zack Gibson.
Yeah, stop giving him ideas. Zack Gibson won't thank you for that one. Crowd is getting behind Gibson. Dunne doesn't like that.
He's holding that arm down again, and watch. Oh, Gibson was smart to it, moved out the way, big uppercut, European style.
Gibson's certainly aware of the strategy that Dunne is trying to employ, but Dunne is just imposing his will over Liverpool's number one, and has been for several minutes now.
And you have to give Dunne credit, because he's in there with a real contender, in fact not just a contender, the winner of the first ever Davey Boy Smith Memorial Cup, and he has taken it to the cup holder, going for everything, ears, thumbs, eyes, any vulnerable spot he can find on Liverpool's number one, he's going for.
And again, the Harts and the Smiths are watching this, so from Dunne's perspective, knowing that they chose Zack Gibson last year, he's trying to borrow a page or two from Gibson's book, have a bit of that aggression that Gibson brings to the ring, and hopefully it will see him advance into the tournament.
Well, it's a great point, because when we first saw Zack Gibson, he reminded me very much of a young Pete Dunne. You know, he didn't care about popularity from the crowd, he didn't care about keeping it within the rules, and now we're seeing karma almost coming to collect.
Dunne continuing to taunt this crowd. And from Gibson's perspective, I wonder if he knows why this crowd have turned in his favour in recent months, because he hasn't changed anything about his style.
There comes a point where somebody sticks to what they believe in for so long, and they refuse to be turned away, they refuse to give up, that eventually you can't help but respect them, and that respect has been building for the last 6 months here on NGW British Wrestling Weekly, and it has blossomed into a love from this audience. But the question is, Dave, Is Nathan Cruz aware of that? Because Nathan Cruz has got to be watching this, knowing that Zack Gibson is waiting in the wings.
Well, Nathan Cruz is another issue for another day, because Gibson's got to focus on this incredible challenge from Dunne at the moment. Look at this slugfest between these two men right now.
Incredible intensity, and Gibson's not done. Hits the ropes and toe break. Whoa, lands on his feet.
Gibson showing his full repertoire. He can brawl, he can do technical wrestling, he can fly through the air. That's why he won the first Davey Boy Smith Memorial Cup.
And Gibson was pushed to the limit there, and now that anger has been used as ammunition against Pete Dunne, who's going for a ride and down.
Gibson caught him into the suplex. Now the cover, the leg is hooked. He's got two, and does he have three? Not quite.
Gibson surprised there because he hit Dunne, as you see here on our replay. After that impressive dive through the ropes, Gibson goes for that head and arm Tazplex, as it was known in ECW, and for a moment there we thought that it was Dunne, but Dunne still had some left in the tank. But how much?
Yeah, great wherewithal from Gibson to telegraph that kick into the suplex. Momentum has changed, the tide has turned here. Gibson, the second uppercut into the jaw of Dunne, and Dunne comes back. Kick to the head of Liverpool's number one. This is so even, so back and forth.
Well, that kick echoed around the whole City Hall, and I said it earlier and I'll say it again, give Dunne credit, but Gibson also not to be outdone.
The power of the strikes, oh my God.
Merseyside drop from the second, Dave, turned him inside out, landed him on his head, and this one is over. Gibson wins.
Oh, wow. I thought Dunne was out. Look at this move again.
On his head. How is Dunne able to move after that? That was the most brutal version of the Merseyside drop, Dave, that I have ever seen.
And yet Dunne still kicked out. What an impressive showing from this young man. Gibson, though, thinks he is on the point of victory, and he may just be right.
Going for the Shankly Gates, and if he gets this one's all. It's done. Pete Dunne,
Dunne counters. Gibson's shoulders are down, but only for two. Dunne comes back again, running insecure into the back of the head of Gibson. Now what? Going for the suplex. Drops him. Cover. Dunne. Will he beat Gibson here? No.
Wow, X-Plex. I've not seen one of those in years done in British professional wrestling. The last time I saw it, or in fact the first time I saw it, was another wrestler from Birmingham, Jack Xavier, in the FWA, going back a long time ago. And you see here on our replay, when you're as big as Gibson is, that is a long way to fall, and a dangerous one too.
Still though, not enough to beat Gibson, and Dunne getting increasingly frustrated. That won't help either. Dunne again biting the fingers. This one is becoming a war of attrition.
And referee Adam J finally telling Dunne, if he carries on with that, this one's over. But this is getting uncomfortable, Dave. These two so competitive, and the bruiserweight living up to his name here.
Repeated stomps to Gibson. Dunne is enjoying the beating he is laying down on this young man, this young star from Liverpool.
And if this is any indication of the calibre of British professional wrestler we're going to see in this year's Davey Boy Smith Cup, then I think we're in for a hell of a ride.
Elbows into the ribs by Dunne, and now into abdominal stretch maybe, no.
There's a pump handle there, and
Gibson giving Dunne a taste of his own medicine. Referee has a count on Gibson now, forearm to the face.
My Lord.
I heard that from here. Wow. Gibson, another uppercut. Another enziguri from Dunne. How much can these two men take? That's got to be all.
Inside out, Dave. He turned Pete Dunne inside out, and Gibson feels it. This crowd feels it. Are we going to see?
Gibson turns him over, cover. He's got two this time. Has he got three? Again Dunne. Again gets that left shoulder up.
I thought he was going for the... he's doing it now. I thought he was going to go for that Shankly Gate straight away, but now he's got it, centre of the ring.
Yeah, it's locked in. Dunne is right in the middle, way away from the ropes.
And he taps. Wow.
Gibson wins.
What a match. British wrestling's new generation has spoken loud and clear on a worldwide stage as all roads lead to the Davey Boy Smith Memorial Cup #2.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, as a result of a submission, Zack Gibson!
Yeah, Gibson reconfirming his place right near the top of the British wrestling tree. But I'll tell you what, Alex, I think Pete Dunne may have just put in a career-changing performance.
If I was a member of the Smith and Hart family right now, I would watch that and definitely be impressed and considering putting Pete Dunne in the actual round-robin stage of the tournament.
Watching replays here, it's just remarkable how often Pete Dunne was able to kick out from the repeated assault from Gibson, but ultimately the very best in British wrestling have tapped to the Shankly gates, and Dunne was no exception here in Hull City Hall.
Still to come, we have got our cameras up to Scotland and we're going to hear from Team Insane Fight Club as NGW management attempts to get the NGW tag team titles back, and on this TV show after hold on.
Oh, for goodness sake. Well, that's the Controls music. We'll talk about ruining a celebration after an incredible match. What on earth are the Control doing here?
We know that there's been a war between the Control, Nathan Cruz and Zack Gibson. In fact, this season started with it, and with Gibson vulnerable after that incredible match, maybe West and Rampage are here to pick the bones, pick the carcass of Liverpool's number one.
Well, West with that interminable smirk on his face as he leads down his meal ticket to the ring, Rampage Brown. But they're hoping to pick the carcass, as you say, Alex. I'm not sure they're going to be successful because Gibson looks well up for the challenge.
I've got no idea why they're here, Dave, but we're going to have to wait to find out.
Yeah, we certainly are. We've got to go to a commercial break. Rampage and Gibson in the ring when we return. Well, things are tense here on NGW British Wrestling Weekly. Rampage Brown and Zack Gibson squaring off, and Richie West, it looks like, has something to say.
Relax, Gibson, relax.
No. Before you start, you little scruff. This tournament has got nothing to do with you, and it's got nothing to do with this big ape.
No love lost between Gibson and Rampage, clearly.
Pete Dunne is anything like the other talent in the Davey Boy Cup this year. They're going to have to go through Liverpool's number one.
Wow.
So say your little piece, but I suggest that you pick your words carefully.
That's fine, Zack. We've not come in here to interrupt your Davey Boy Cup mission. I've heard how annoyed you are that you're not in it, and we agree. You definitely should be in Davey Boy Cup number 2. You were the winner. You impressed right around the world. There's no doubt in my mind you should be in it.
This is weird.
But I do have a little bit of business to attend to with you tonight, in fact. Not that kind of business. Relax. You see, you know, everybody knows that we've got this huge team warfare match coming up, and that match means everything to me. Team Control are going nowhere. And Rampage Brown will leave the Undisputed Champion. But I had a bit of bad news. When I heard that Mark Haskins was not cleared to wrestle, that left me in our most important match, one man down. And Zack, there's a saying that goes, there's no better friend than my enemy's enemy. And everybody's aware how much you hate Nathan Cruz.
This isn't going to go where I think it's going to go, is it?
So I would like to officially offer you the opportunity to step in the ring opposite Cruz.
Surely not.
Ruin it for Cruz and make sure you come out on top. So that is an official offer to join Team Control for the 8-man warfare match.
Well, I've got no idea what West is thinking, but anyone that's been following any of the seasons of this programme will know that the hatred between Cruz and Zack Gibson is equalled only between Gibson and Weston Brown. There's no way he's going to do it.
There's no way Gibson's doing this.
There are however many 100 people in this room now telling me no. You must think I was born yesterday. All these people are saying no for a reason, because they can't trust you as far as they can throw you. You are scum.
You see, Zack, over the last couple of years, we've got to know you very well, and to be honest, I expected that response. So I've got a little addition to the deal with
What possible addition could there be that's going to turn this around?
I've heard that Nathan Cruz, in principle, has agreed to make his next title defence against the winner of the Destiny Rumble, Doug Williams. But you know, and I know, that it should be Zack Gibson or Rampage Brown getting that shot. So the offer, the little sweetener I've got for you, Zack, is if you join Team Control, and when we win, and we will win with you on board, and Rampage Brown walks out the undisputed champion, you will have the very first undisputed title shot against Rampage Brown.
What? Talk about exploiting your power as managing director.
I've got the contract, Zack. All you have to do at the end of the night, when we've won, is sign that contract. At the end of that match, when we're winner, you put your signature down.
It's a smart play. You've got to give West credit. That is a smart play.
I'm not expecting an answer now. Take the contract. Take the contract. Take it. Read it over. Think it through.
We've got weeks to go until this match. But if Gibson is looking at it, Dave, surely he's not going to take that.
I mean, of all the underhanded moves that West could pull, well, Gibson didn't take it. Good.
You still got time, Zack. Don't make any rash decisions. Think it through.
The seed's been planted, Dave, and it's been planted deep.
I tell you, it shows you the position West is in if he's prepared to risk
Well, actually, there's something else I need to address as well, you lucky people.
Oh, he's not done, Dave.
You see, shortly we're supposed to meet in the back and decide who has the advantage in the team warfare match. Who has that advantage? We were set to flip a coin. Well, that sounds really silly to me. I've got my team captain, Rampage Brown, in this ring right now. So my suggestion is that a member of Team NGW comes out here right now and we do it the old-fashioned way and wrestle for that advantage. And if I've got my team captain, why not Team NGW's captain? Nathan Cruz is in the back, all ready for a photo shoot for BritishWrestling.tv, which I arranged to make sure that Nathan was all ready in his wrestling attire. So, Nathan Cruz, team captain. captain versus team captain.
Wow.
Right here, right now, to decide who takes the advantage.
No way.
Well, West is calling out the champion. Will Cruz respond?
Well, that just may be the biggest singles match we've had this season.
Come on, Cruz. If you can beat Rampage Brown, Team NGW will get the first entrant in the 8-man match. This is your big opportunity, champ.
We've got to go to a break. Don't go anywhere.
NGW management calling. Cancel. You quite comfortable there, cameraman? You okay? Is the lighting and the temperature in the room okay for you? I know it gets a little bit cold up here in Scotland sometimes. You good? A few weeks have passed. Insane Fight Club still tag team champions. You know why? Because we've just decided we're not going to defend them. That's why you guys have had to come up to Scotland and interview me. See, the tide's switched. It's changed. It's not about us coming down there to you now. It's about you having to come up here. How's that 5-hour drive for you? You're going to have to do a little bit better than a few text messages and phone calls to get us back down there.
I'm not going to lie, man, boys. I'm getting a bit tired. Yeah, I'm getting a bit warmed up. It's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 weeks. I don't know, man. I've had this jumper on for most of it, do you know what I mean? I've had to get my head's starting to hurt. This thing's starting to get heavy. This belt's starting, you know what? So, mate, what are you going to do? You're not going to do anything about it. See if I just pull this bit off and pull this bit off, I'll make it lighter. Because, you know, we need to lighten up. It's still a belt. I'm still the champ. Everybody knows I'm the champion. But I need to make this a wee bit lighter so I can get another week on the baby.
One problem that many people have in this business is not realizing their own worth. Joe Hendry knows that he is the most valuable asset in professional wrestling today. And then when you add in Lionhearted Kid fighting that mix and these championship titles, we call every shot that there is to call. This is not a negotiation. This is a list of demands. We're going to say this is what we want and this is what you're going to give us. Because if you think that we're going to step outside and come all the way down to defend these titles in NGW again, then you better be willing to go to the bank and withdraw everything that you have, and then you might come close to being able to convince me and my brothers to come down and put these on the line. You see, everyone else in NGW, it's all about the competition, it's all about performing in front of the fans, and for us, it's about greatness. We don't need to wrestle every single night to be great. These prove that we're great, and we're not giving them up, not for anything.
NGW British Wrestling Weekly, Richie West laid down the gauntlet, and our NGW Undisputed Champion looks like he's about to respond.
Well, Richie West made sure that Nathan Cruz was set up to do a British Wrestling.tv photo shoot, Dave, and that meant that he was in his wrestling gear, but yet he's going to come out for, like I said, possibly the biggest match, singles match so far this season. The stakes could not be higher.
To the sheer intensity that's coursing through every vein of the Undisputed Champion.
Well, we know that we've got team warfare coming up in just a matter of weeks here, and one team needs the advantage in that. Oh, we're on.
Well, Rampage Brown heading straight out to meet the champ, and they are brawling on the outside here at Hull City Hall.
Don't forget, this is the building where got our stagehands, our NGW Academy students, one of them taking a knock there in the early goings, but don't forget, this is the building where Nathan Cruz beat Rampage Brown. Yeah, it's official. Nathan Cruz beat Rampage Brown for the NGW Unified Undisputed Championship, but it's also the building, Dave, where Rampage Brown beat Nathan Cruz and the man we just saw, Zack Gibson, in British Wrestling's Ultimate Showdown. So there's some serious history here.
You can tell that history exists just by the absolute ferocity of this fight. that's developing outside that stagehand is still down.
That's the second one.
It's our second one, you're right, I'm sorry.
And if this is any indication of what team warfare is going to be like, I mean, we've already seen Mark Haskins unable to compete, and the option to be part of team control being offered to Zack Gibson. I mean, it's a story that is consumed this season, and it just continues with this massive singles match.
Yeah, Gibson turning down that contract before the break. Richie West, though, not giving up, telling him to think about it.
Huge crossbody, second rope on the inside by the NGW champion, and just the two. And referee Steve Linsky, don't forget, and you see here on our replay, impressive action by Nathan Cruz. Steve Linsky, Dave, it's the first time he's been in the ring with Brown and Cruz since British Wrestling's Ultimate Showdown. And let's not forget that he counted, very, very unpopular with fans worldwide, he counted out Cruz and Gibson and awarded it to Rampage Brown.
That, I'm sure, will be at the back of Linsky's mind and at the back of the mind of both of these competitors, and the stakes are almost as high here, with the winner getting the advantage at the start of that team warfare match.
Well, it's not just the stakes that are high, but the competitors as well, because Rampage Brown up there on that top rope, and look at those closed fists. Don't know how long Linsky's going to take that for.
Brown perhaps not naturally at home up high, but he can certainly attack from there when he needs to, as you see there.
Wow. Rampage Brown is a man with just devastating offense, and he could have gone for the cover, but he is just putting a beating and a hurting on the NGW champion, and look at this.
You know, it's got so personal between these two that whenever they're in the ring together, I'm not sure they're both thinking clearly. Rampage should have gone for the cover there, but he's more interested in putting a beating on Cruz.
And if you're keeping score, so far we know that the members of Team NGW are El Ligero, Liam Slater, and there's one more spot. Now, I've heard through the grapevine, Dave, that Nathan Cruz wants to enlist as his final teammate on that Team NGW team his best friend Matt Myers, but let's not forget that Myers is the new #1 contender to take on Bubblegum, and from what I've been told, Myers at this point wants to concentrate on winning that cup.
Big leg drop across the chest of Nathan Cruz by Rampage Brown, and of course the Controls team is far from complete as well. They are trying to recruit Gibson, so there's uncertainty on both sides as we get ever closer to that huge 8-man showdown.
And if you wonder what it's all about, don't forget right now, Richie West is the managing director of New Generation Wrestling, but Nathan Cruz holds the NGW Championship, so that gives him a great level of control over what goes on in this company. He can say yes and no to various title shots, and Richie West wants to be the managing director and the champion. So the stakes are high, because if Team Control win, then Rampage Brown automatically becomes the new NGW Undisputed Champion. It's the biggest match in NGW history.
Right, and what would that mean for the future of NGW? Oh my! What would that mean for the future of this company if Richie West's power was unchecked, if there was no Nathan Cruz to keep him in his place?
Well, Richie West has said to me many times that the one thing he believes in life is pure, unadulterated capitalism. Richie West is a man that wants to get power, wants to get control, and wants to hold on to that in any way that he can. Whereas Nathan Cruz is a man of the people. Whether the people cheer him or boo him, he believes in fighting for them. So it really is the irresistible force meeting the immovable object, and it's all going to come to a head in Team Warfare.
Short arm clothesline by Rampage, absolutely brutal. Gets a 2 count on the champ. Brown just methodically stalking Cruz. Again, we've said this already, but these two know each other so well, they can almost foresee what the other one is going to do at any point in this match.
And Linsky is in an unenviable position because, oh, look at that. Because I was going to say, who would want to tell Rampage Brown to calm down his offense? I mean, when Rampage Brown loses it, he is honestly the scariest man in British wrestling, possibly British wrestling history. I mean, they call him the Control's unstoppable monster, and he lives up to that billing in each and every contest. Well,
elbow by Rampage, but it's not in West's interest for Rampage to lose it here, because we know that Linsky will disqualify or count out a man. So from West's perspective, he doesn't want Rampage getting disqualified.
And I'm just being told, this is a huge match, Dave, and we are running dangerously short on television time. I'm being told that if this match does not conclude by the end of the programme, we'll bring it to you at the beginning of next week's show.
The stakes so very, very high here. We're not going to put a time limit on this match. We will let this one run to a conclusion, as you say, Alex, even if we have to roll over into next week's show to show you what happens as Rampage continues to wear down the champion.
The other thing that's going on is we heard earlier this week that NGW management, the reason they were up in Scotland is to negotiate with Team Insane Fight Club. Now, we heard from them earlier and the negotiation process has begun, and I am told that if it goes smoothly, Team Insane Fight Club, Dave, this is an exclusive, will be here on next week's show.
I kind of resent the fact you have to negotiate with the tag team champions for them to show up, but that's another story, I guess.
What they want has been kept very quiet at this point. Whoa! Oh! Wow!
Yeah, Cruz sends Rampage to the outside, another stagehand goes down. It's hazardous occupation today.
Well, that could be a difference maker, because that was a huge distance for Brown to fall. He tried to land on his feet, but it's given the champion the time he needs to recoup. But he has taken incredible punishment.
You see Cruz just gasping for air, trying to get his bearings, work out where he is, as this crowd here in Hull City Hall all cheering him on. But the Predator, Rampage Brown, is back.
And remember, the winner of this will get the official advantage in that team warfare match, which means whoever wins this, their team will have a 2-minute advantage every single time a new member of the 8 men is added.
Cruz firing up here against Rampage Brown.
Textbook show stealer, slingshot belly to back, centre of the ring, and Linsky's down, Dave.
For the advantage for Team NGW, and he was half a second away from getting it. That could have been so important in the future of this company, because that advantage could be everything.
And Cruz is feeling something here, Dave. He's feeling victory, maybe. Show stolen.
Well, Cruz is going for his finishing move. Rampage Brown is hurt, but hang on a minute.
It's the proven, Dave, and Cruz up and over. My God.
Cruz taking out 2 members of the Control.
Well, it's ironic that this match is for an advantage in team warfare, but there's always a disadvantage when you're in there against any member of the Control, because you've got the proven Mark Haskins or Richie West just waiting in the wings, and we're seeing it now.
You never mind a 1-man advantage in that 8-man match. It's a 2-man advantage with those 2 out there. Here's Brown.
Yeah, Cruz hasn't seen him, Dave.
Big clothesline. This could be all.
Dave, we're running out of TV time. Rapidly. Oh no, implant DDT. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. Cruz got that right shoulder up. This match is continuing. We have just seconds left in this week's episode. Our credits are rolling here, Alex. We're gonna have to show you the conclusion of this match next week on NGW British Wrestling Weekly.
He's going for that pole driver. If he can hit that pole driver, he's going to win. And Cruz kicks out.